What's up everyone, Nick here from TV Box Top and welcome to another edition of DIY Box, where the best TV box is the one you build it for yourself. So today I feature a powerful ARM mini PC from Mekotronics, and this one is said to have very high benchmarks supporting the Rockchip RK3588 octa-core 64-bit CPU and the Mali G610 GPU on 16GB of LPDDR4 RAM and 64GB of internal storage. It's designed to run multiple operating systems such as Android 12, Ubuntu, Debian 11, and Buildroot. However, my interest in this device is to use it to simulate the function of a super powerful 64-bit Android TV box. So as usual, I'll do my full in-depth review of its hardware and features, and we'll take a look at its pros and cons under Android, and let's see how it compares to other SBC boards such as the Kehada's Vim 4 and the Edge 2. So don't go anywhere, that's up next. So in this package contains the R58 mini PC itself, a wireless air mouse and dongle with voice command function, one HDMI cable, one USB-A to USB Type-C cable, one external SATA ribbon cable, a 12 volts 2 amps 24 watts power supply, and a pair of external antennas. So its design is quite unusual, and it contains ports and features not seen in other SBC boards. Firstly, it has an all-metal case with lots of ventilation cutout holes at the top, and you can also see the green power LED shining through. To its rear, it has two HDMI 2.1 display ports that can display true 8K resolution, one HDMI input port, one RJ45GB LAN port, a 12 volts DC power input jack, and a pair of Wi-Fi 6 antennas. To its front, it has one USB 3.0 port, two USB 2.0, a USB Type-C port, a recovery button, a reset button, an IR sensor, and an LED hard drive activity indicator power button. To its left side, it has a 1.4 display port and a SATA 3.0 port for the external storage ribbon cable. And to its base, it has four anti-skid rubber feet and metal wings on either side with screw mounts, which can be used for wall mounting and for rack mounting. So unlike your standard Android TV box, ARM mini PCs usually have multiple operating systems that can be used on them. So on the Mekotronics support page, you can find the latest firmware for 2023, Linux Ubuntu, Debian 14, and Buildroot. Out of the box, it came with one of the older versions of Android 12, so I downloaded the latest version for 2023 and flashed it using the Rockchip patch tool on my PC. Because when I attempted to use the OTA update utility, it kept saying that I have the latest version. So the boot up process features the default Android animation, and then you're taken directly to its launcher. So the entire boot up process took just 15 seconds flat to start up from a power off position, which is really fast in comparison to Android boxes. So for its launcher, they used the lean back launcher, and it features horizontal scrolling panels, a shortcuts bar to the top section here, and you can access its settings area below here. Unfortunately, this launcher does not feature a navigation bar or full status bar with system controls, which means I will have to install the menu button alternative navigation bar in just a moment. This firmware was compiled using the mobile version of Android 12 SDK, and here is its firmware build information. You also have access to developer options. For display, when connected to my 4K TV, it can display up to 4K 2160p at 60Hz via HDMI or its DisplayPort. It can display 8K on one of the designated HDMI ports, but unfortunately I don't have an 8K television to test that feature. When connected to a PC monitor via HDMI or its DisplayPort, it's limited to HD 1080p at 60Hz. Another great display feature is that you get dual duplicated display, either via its two HDMI ports or one HDMI port and the DisplayPort. The USB Type-C port at the front is not a display port. It has HDR10 and HLG display, and it has Auto HDR feature. However, it does not feature Dolby Vision. It has built-in screen rotation to portrait mode, reverse portrait, and reverse landscape. It has advanced display AI upscaling feature, automatic frame rate switching, HDMI CEC options, built-in hardware monitor overlay that needs some work as some of the information is overlapping the window. You get 75 various languages to suit your region, and surround sound audio options. But please keep in mind that this is not a confirmation that surround sound is working, as I reserve that confirmation for during the surround sound audio segment. So it looks quite daunting on the outside. Let's take a look at what it's got on the inside. So firstly, it's using the Rockchip RK30 board, and get this, it comes with 16GB of LPDDR4 RAM, which is 4 times the amount you get on a standard Android TV box of 4GB. It comes with 64GB of eMMC internal storage, and don't forget it comes with an external SATA connecting port, and I will test that port with a 4TB hard drive later during this video. Its Bluetooth version is 5.0. Its CPU is the Rockchip RK3588, and it's divided into 2 cores, a quad-core Cortex-A55 clocked at 1.8 GHz and a quad-core Cortex-A76 clocked at 2.256 GHz with a max CPU clock range of 2.352 GHz configured in 64-bit mode, allowing it to run both 32 and 64-bit apps and games. Its display is powered by the Mali G610 quad-core GPU with OpenGL version 3.2 support. Its network adapter is a Wi-Fi 6 AX model that delivers 2.4 GHz plus 5 GHz Wi-Fi 6 connectivity. As mentioned, its operating system is Android 12, and it shows that it's rooted, but keep in mind previous versions like the one that came out of the box are not rooted. The Mali G610 GPU has Vulkan API version 1.1 support. Its idle operating temperature is around 41 degrees Celsius, and what's interesting is that with its CPU clocked at 2.35 GHz, they installed a direct contact heatsink on its CPU, and it keeps the CPU cool even under intensive activities, and we'll take a look at this in just a moment. And on the codecs, it comes with all the decoders for the playback of 4K HDR10 videos and videos with AV1 decoding. However, there are no Dolby Vision video decoders, Dolby Atmos EAC3 or DTS HD audio decoders. I will, however, test for surround sound audio using built-in media player decoders. So even though it's a powerful chipset, it does not have all of the bells and whistles yet on this current firmware. The good news is they are providing firmware updates, so I'll return in a later video once updates are available. So let's now look at what you can actually do on this Android operating system. Firstly, for streaming movies and TV shows, it has the lowest level of Google certification, which is Widevine Level 3 with no HDCP protection. This means that all your favorite movie subscriptions will be limited to basic 480p resolution even if you are paying for an HD or 4K account. You need Widevine Level 1 with HDCP 2.2 or 2.3 protection to view your subscriptions in HD or 4K. However, it's not classified as an Android TV box but an ARM mini PC. This means you have root access in the event you need to use it for developing apps or special projects. One of its unique features is its HDMI input port. With this port, it comes with an app called HDMI In, and you can connect an array of devices and view them only using this app. There is no recording feature. For expandable storage, you have USB ports, no microSD card slot, and one SATA port. So I attempted to connect a 4TB external motorized hard drive, and the port could not provide sufficient power to run the drive. However, when I connected a laptop hard drive or SSD, it worked perfectly. So here I connected a 1TB SSD and converted it to shared internal storage. However, after formatting, it could only format 64GB. So it can read over 1TB as portable storage, but it can only convert 64GB to shared internal storage. One thing to note is that connecting the ribbon cable to the SATA port is extremely difficult, as the case does not allow you to easily access the clip to clamp down the ribbon cable. Also, my advice to Mekotronics is that this is not the best option to connect SATA external storage devices, as the ribbon cable can be easily damaged, and they should provide a plug type connection instead with a more robust cable. For watching YouTube videos, my advice is that you use the Android TV version, as the mobile version has lots of difficulty streaming 4K HDR content. When played on the Android TV version, it plays 4K videos smoothly with HDR, and it also plays in the correct viewport of 2160p and not cropped into a 1080p frame. For customization features such as installing alternative launchers and alternative navigation bars, it has a bit of difficulty in that area. Firstly, when you install an alternative navigation bar, the recent apps feature is not working in spite of having root access. Also, when you install alternative launchers, it works, but you don't get the option to change its wallpapers. For playing self-hosted 4K HDR10 videos and AV1 videos is not an issue for this mini PC, as it comes with the required decoders. So let's take a look at some 4K HDR10 video playback using videos in various formats such as MP4, TS, MKV, and one video has AV1 formatting and one has HLG.
Only a win for Barca would be enough, because it would give them the same number of points as Atletico, but the head-to-head goal difference is what counts in the case of a tie.
So even though the videos played okay, there is something you should know, and that is not all the media players work great on this mini PC. I found that the VLC player is the most compatible with HDR10 and HLG videos, the MX player plays AV1 videos the best, and the Kodi media player and other media players have some compatibility issues in different areas. In testing for surround sound audio, as mentioned, it does not have any surround sound audio decoders compiled into its firmware. So if there is any chance of getting surround sound audio, it would have to be at the software level. The good news is, media players such as the MX player and the Kodi media player can indeed produce surround sound audio. However, it's not perfect, as sometimes the audio drops off unexpectedly and cuts back in. With that said, let's take a look at what formats we can get. So I'm using the MX player, and in this sample I can get Dolby Atmos and the Dolby Digital Plus.
Is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object with powerful moving audio that transcends from channels.
What is this place? Come on, you guys, let's go!
Or captures the full extent.
Do you want to know my secret?
With this video, I'm getting DTS HD Master Audio. This video produces Dolby True HD.
This is the left channel. Next, we have the center channel.
And this one produces a DTS-X. So it produces all the formats, and you also heard some of the issues it has sustaining audio while processing these difficult formats. So the area in which this mini PC shines the most would be in its 64-bit Android gaming and emulation gaming performance. With its octa-core CPU clocked at 2.35 GHz and its quad-core Mali G610 GPU with Vulkan support, you can play any Android game on the highest possible graphics settings. And with root access, you can use any gamepad keymapping app of your choosing to allocate gamepad buttons or keyboard and mouse buttons to touchscreen functions.
Capturing C. It's just a scratch.
And here is a look at some emulation gaming using the Aether SX2 PS2 emulator. For the best performance, I suggest you set the graphics rendering to Vulkan and the upscale multiplier to 2.5. So its gaming performance is outstanding, but depending on what you are playing, the temperature varies. For 32-bit games, the temperature remains in the low 60s. For 64-bit games, it rises into the high 70s. And for emulation gaming, it remains very cool in the low 40s. And to close things off, let's take a look at its benchmarks. These are the results of its RAM copy speed and its internal storage sequential read and write speeds. It has a RAM copy speed of 8,989 megabytes per second. Its internal storage has a read speed of 308 megabytes per second and a write speed of 173 megabytes per second. For CPU, single core and multi-core performance, it scored 26,322 single core and 35,281 multi-core. In benchmarking its GPU performance, it qualified for the Swordsman and Terracotta Vulkan GPU performance test under OpenGL 3.2, and it also performed the refinery test with OpenGL 3.1. It got an overall score of 178,677. In benchmarking its Wi-Fi 6 bands and its Ethernet LAN port, the results show that its 5 GHz band, which are these results right here, along with its LAN port, based on my network speed of 154 megabits per second, they both achieved the maximum speed of my bandwidth. Its 2.4 GHz band achieved only 25%, so for the fastest speeds, use the 5 GHz band or its LAN port. And for an overall Antutu benchmark, it scored 488,017. So when I entered the scores on my rankings chart, the R58 is at position number 3 among the top 5 most powerful Android boxes. And in comparison to the H96 Max V58, it should have outperformed that box according to its CPU clock speed. However, after running the benchmarks a second time, it resulted in the same score, with the R58 having a much lower CPU multi-core score, which affected its rating. It outperformed the V58 in all other areas except the CPU multi-core performance. When another firmware update is released, I will retest to confirm. In summary, what I can say about the R58 is that it is indeed a powerful ARM mini PC. However, powerful hardware must be complemented with a well-designed and optimized firmware. My focus was mainly on its Android firmware, but as I indicated earlier, it has the ability to run 4 different operating systems, hence the possibilities of the unit and the cost at a price point of around $400. On its Android firmware, they need to include a different type of launcher that includes a navigation bar and full status bar with system controls. It needs a root switch, and they need to include decoders for the playback of surround sound audio such as ESC3 and the DTS HD and the Dolby Vision decoders for video. Another area they need to work on is on its root permissions, as some apps are still not recognizing its root access. So viewers, there you have it, and that brings to an end this review. Special thanks to Mekotronics for sending their ARM mini PC for review, and it's available on Amazon and AliExpress, prices which can be found on my price comparison page using the link in the description below this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, as this will allow you to receive notifications when I release new videos or decide to do a giveaway. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Stay tuned and see you in the next one.